Oh yeah, we are proper gnome corin now.
Hey there, kids, and welcome back to the channel. I'm ⁗ⁱ and that you are having a gnomish day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back, relax, and have a wonderful conversation with all of you. Not about anything gnomish, but about trading cards. And no, before you jump to conclusions, we are not talking about Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Flesh and Blood, or any other trading card games, nor are we talking about sports cards. Baseball, football, hockey, beach volleyball. We're not talking about either of those two categories, and I exclude those for a reason. When you do think of trading cards, your mind tends to gravitate towards one or the other. But there is more to the world of trading cards than just sports and card games. You see, there's a whole deluge of non-sports entertainment trading cards, and they have been around since, I want to say, the 1930s. Trading cards produced by Topps and other companies, based on popular brands beyond the world of sports entertainment. We're talking like TV shows like Gilligan's Island, movies, Batman, various other superheroes, etc. You know, there is a long laundry list of trading cards out there worth collecting. And in today's video, I'd like to go over the 5 non-sports trading card sets that I think are either worth collecting or at the very least worth taking a look into. And they are all sets that I have had on my radar for quite some time. And I do want to collect full sets of all of these if the opportunity ever arises. And one of them I have started to collect. But I suppose that does it for an intro. Let's dive right on in with the first one, the one that I think most people are going to be the most aware of, or at the very least, it seems to me like this is the one that most people are aware of the ones on this list. And that is the Mars Attacks original series from 1962, produced by Topps, although at the time, Topps was worried about their reputation, so they produced it not under Topps, but by Bubbles Inc., something like that. I know that they used a shell company to produce the cards because they were worried about their reputation. So, and with good reason. Mars Attacks is a pretty brutal sci-fi horror card set. It contains 55 cards in total by artists. Did I write their names down? I did not. I think it's Wally Wood and Saunders. I forget Saunders' first name. But those two artists did the art for this 55 card set. And it was, look, very controversial at the time. It was a very brutal set depicting the invasion of Earth by these skull-faced, big-brained Martians who came down with laser weapons, giant insects, robots, and just started attacking the crap out of Earth, abducting women, killing soldiers, setting fire to the populace, etc. It was a brutal, brutal series. And it caught the attention of parents and teachers who did raise an uproar, sent in letters in complaint. And if I'm recalling correctly, they even got the series pulled early. But despite the outcry and general hatred of the series garnered by the clutching pearls out there in the world, it is still it was still a very well received, I should speak in past tense, shouldn't I? It was a very well received set with a lot of fans who dearly loved it back in the day, so much so that it got a movie in the 90s. And it's a really cool set. I think of the 5 I'm talking about today, Mars Attacks is probably the most successful one in terms of like cultural relevance. There's been sequel sets, there's been re-releases of the original set, there's been a lot of people who talk about it, so it's a fairly common or well-known, I should say, set out there, but still one that I think is worth checking out. Up next, we have the Addams Family 1964 set. It has 66 cards, and it is, actually, now that I look at the list, it is the only set on this list not done by Topps. It's done by Don Russ, or Don Roos. I have no idea how you pronounce that company name. Anyway, this is based on the Addams Family TV show at the time, the black and white Original series, it has 66 cards. I'm not going to talk about this one too much because I just don't know all the details of the set. It's just that when I was younger, a friend of the family actually had the full set, and I was very fond of them. I went through it, and it's what got me into the Addams Family TV show. And I just really like the set. There's really not much more to say about it. If you are a fan of the Addams Family, this is a set of cards for the original Addams Family TV show, which was a bit of a cultural sensation. Don't get me wrong. But it's just really cool in general. But it's not the only live-action media IP tie-in cards that we're going to talk about. We're also going to talk about Star Wars, because Star Wars is the next item on our list, specifically the 1977 Topps Star Wars, the very first Star Wars set of trading cards. Released in 1977, it was the first of 5 series that Topps released throughout a 2-year period based on the films. And it didn't just have the 66 card main set, it also had an 11 card sticker subset featuring Darth Vader most prominently in the sticker slot. Yeah, the packs were really neat. They came with stickers, like I said, 1 of 11 stickers. And I don't know how popular stickers were with trading cards before this point. I have not done an extensive look into how cards versus stickers were packaged and paired and such. But from what I could find online, both by reading first-hand accounts from people who've collected the set and one old news article, actually, these stickers were insanely well received, and they for a time the sticker subset was more popular than the main card set, which was it's crazy to think about. But this is really prominent for the biggest reason, of course. It's the first and original Star Wars trading cards, Star Wars collector cards ever produced, and I think Topps did a really good job with this series. And to this day, it remains a highly sought-after series, with some of these cards having quite the price tag on the secondary market, which means I think of the ones on this list, this is the one that I would like it a lot, but it's also the one that I'm least likely to get just because of how pricey it is. Next up, we have Garbage Pail Kids, the original one from 1985. This was another Topps original line that featured almost exclusively stickers. I don't think there's any non-sticker cards in the set now that I think about it. There's 88 cards, an A and B set of 44 cards each. And look, this was the first Garbage Pail Kids. I'm going to put that down for a second. Garbage Pail Kids, for those of you who don't know, is it's an IP brand showing some really messed up art featuring these ugly, deformed, malnourished, or injured kids in all kinds of funny, punny situations. And I could go over a whole list of them, but there was kids with like coated in vomit, kids with a bunch of holes in them, spewing water everywhere, kids crawling through the mud, through the dirt, and all that jazz. And yeah, it's a bit of bleak, dark humor to it, but it is humorous, and it was very popular, and it spawned an entire brand that is still running to this day. And I think that original set is at the very least worth keeping an eye on. And I think it's kind of crazy how something that's so non-serious, something that took itself so casually and kind of morbidly, I would say, managed to spawn a brand that manages to continue to this day. It proved to be quite popular, and I think that's really neat and worth at the very least keeping on your radar. The final card set we're talking about today is the one that I'm currently in the process of filling out. It's Dinosaurs Attack. And you hear conflicting stories about how this card set came around. You'll hear people talking about how it's a direct spiritual successor to Mars Attacks and was always intended to be released. It just took 20 years because this came out in 1988. And then you'll hear other people talking about how Topps just wanted a successor series to Garbage Pail Kids, not in terms of like a new Garbage Pail Kids line, but a new dark humor card line. And you'll hear different people give different reasons for why it came about. But what I'm going to say is that it does feel like a spiritual successor to Mars Attacks. It has a similar art direction, a similar card text font for the front of the cards. It's a similar small series, 55 cards in the set, just like Mars Attacks, but it also has 11 sticker cards. And like Mars Attacks, this is a pseudo sci-fi throwback series, which kind of parodied a lot of the B movies of the last century, specifically the dinosaur disaster films. The general plot of this set, because it does have a plot, is that a time machine or time viewing experiment goes wrong and dinosaurs invade the modern era and just start attacking people in all kinds of gruesome fashions, attacking all over the globe until the scientist figures out that a demon dinosaur is behind the attacks and sacrifices himself so that the wife can shut off the time travel machine and put an end to the dinosaur menace. I think I got that right. I don't think I did, though. This, despite being a visual and spiritual successor to Mars Attacks, was not nearly as popular as Mars Attacks was back in its heyday. And yeah, it got similar brutal reviews from parents and teachers alike, but for whatever reason, it just did not prove as successful as Mars Attacks. And while it does have a cult following nowadays with people such as myself who are very interested in getting full sets of it, you'll find that it's a very affordable set. You can find boxes online for very cheap these days. Just hop on eBay and take a look. They're not particularly rare or hard to find, which is kind of crazy for something that came out in the 80s. That's like 30 years old. Nuts. Over 30 years old. It's almost 40 years old. Oh my God. Time keeps moving forward. But yeah, those are five different trading card sets that I personally would like to have in my collection, and I hope that you might consider at least checking them out and seeing if they are things that you yourself would like. Anyway, that's really all I got. I've heard you guys like top 5 videos, so here's another top 5 video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Are there any trading card sets you are hunkering to collect? If so, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.